Hello, I'm Zara Fagan, and today I want to talk to you about a big mistake that I see in new homeschoolers or those considering to homeschool, and they don't even notice that it's a problem. I'm the author of Minimalist Homeschooling, and I homeschool my 4 children who are now range in age from 4 to 12, and I have ever since the beginning. So over my years of working with homeschoolers, I've noticed that the biggest struggle with new homeschoolers is the lifestyle change. So let's talk about 8 ways that homeschooling is going to be dramatically different than perhaps what you're used to. Number 1, homeschooling is not going to be like it was when you were doing homework with your children. So a lot of parents will say to me, we struggle so much with homework, I'm not even sure that we can homeschool. Well, guess what? When you're homeschooling, there is no homework. In fact, you will get your children during the best part of the day. You will have a finite amount of work that will get done at specific times. It won't drag on and linger on through the entire day if that's not what works well for your family. So hopefully, you will choose the best time to do things with your children, and everyone will be at their best. Number 2, responsibilities. A lot of mothers will say, how will I keep the house while my children are home all day? I still have to be a homemaker. I still need to get the vacuuming done or the cleaning done or the meals done. And the good news is that now your children will participate in that with you. So when you're homeschooling, children are given a lot of responsibilities around the home. 1, they now have the time to do that, to take on more responsibility. And 2, you're going to have less time to do it. So it really works out well. And lastly, it's good for children to learn these life skills and to be part of the team. And so it really is a win-win for everybody. So start giving your children some age-appropriate responsibilities right away and add to that as they become more mature. Number 3 is prioritize right now. There's a lot of overwhelm when we start homeschooling because our minds immediately want to go all the way to them being productive members of society. That's the ultimate goal, right? We want them to be happy and we want them to live big, valuable lives. But our goal when we're homeschooling is to focus on right now. What do our children most need and most love right now? And how do we serve that? How do we guide them? And how do we teach them those things? And we trust then that everything will fall into place if we continue that focus throughout their lives of what they need at that stage in their education. Number 4, don't recreate school at home. Please don't be a drill sergeant. I know I was a product of the public schools, and so that's all I knew. And when I started, the idea was we sit down, we open the book, we do the work. However, when you're homeschooling, we can shift that focus because the reality is what we imagine when we think of learning is actually what it takes to manage an education for 20 to 30 different children. That is, they sit down at their desk and they do an organized activity, and it's a very structured day because that's what's required to manage an education for that many students who are all individualized. Your job now is to manage an education simply for your own children. There's a lot more flexibility in that, and you can individualize it a lot more. So I want to repeat over and over again, the goal is learning. The goal is learning. Whether that happens on the sofa, around the coffee table, at a picnic table, via a documentary, via a deep discussion in the car, the goal is always learning. So it doesn't matter where, when, or how the learning happens so much as whether it is happening. So we need to free ourselves from this idea. Please do not make your children sit at a table for 6 to 8 hours and structure their entire day, because that is not homeschooling. And nobody will enjoy that. I can nearly guarantee that will not be fun. Nor will it be sustainable. So don't try that. Instead, remember, your goal is learning. Number 5 is that you're going to want a routine when you homeschool, and this is different from a lesson plan. If you're not familiar with the idea of a routine, go ahead and check out this video. A lot of parents will say to me, but my children listen to their teacher. They go when it's time to go, they sit when it's time to sit, and we don't have that same discipline in our own home, and I'm afraid my children won't listen to me, or I'm afraid that it will be chaos all day long. Well, guess what? Your children learned how to go with that flow in school. They learned what to expect, and they learned what was expected of them. And you can have that same sort of symbiotic relationship with your children if you have a routine. So go ahead and establish a routine so that everyone knows what's sort of expected at approximate times and everybody can get in on the same flow. Okay, number 6 is take breaks when needed. So a lot of us, that sounds great, but at the same time, we are resistant to taking breaks because we think that's not the way the world works, right? When they have a boss, they're not going to be able to take a break whenever they want. However, these are children. And if the goal is learning, we are going to take breaks as needed. And the fact of the matter is that you will have plenty of time to take breaks. It will not take 6 to 8 hours for your child to complete a day's worth of schoolwork. It just simply does not take as long when you're homeschooling. So you have time for breaks, and breaks will help you be a better teacher and help them be a better student. Everybody will have a better day with more breaks, and that means more learning will actually happen when we're taking breaks. Number 7 is value free time. A lot of people who start homeschooling, they really struggle with this idea that their children have all this free time and they simply don't know what to do with it, and that's okay. Free time is really valuable. Research is clear that unstructured time for children is incredibly valuable. I won't go into all of that here, but this is when they will sort of find their own passions and find their own interests and pursue those and take the initiative to take things a little bit further in their own time. And so watch what happens during your child's free time and really learn to value that, not only for them, but also maybe a little free time for yourself as well. Number 8, enjoy your kids. So this will be a different relationship that you will have with your kids, very different from making sure they're out the door at a certain time and in the door at a certain time and that they get everything on the checklist done and then that you repeat it the next morning, right? So now we are focusing much more on having a relationship with our children than meeting that sort of checklist or rat race mentality. And I'm here to tell you that great academics and a great relationship with your children are not mutually exclusive. You can have both. And in fact, if you focus on having a great relationship with your children, the academics become that much easier and the learning becomes that much more enjoyable. So make sure you enjoy your children. Okay, those are the 8 suggestions that I have for people who are new to homeschooling and considering homeschooling. And if that's you, I would love to hear what other questions you have. Go ahead and leave me a comment. Give me a thumbs up, share, subscribe. I will see more of you soon. I have more resources in the comments. And until then, I'm wishing you all the simple things. Bye-bye, guys.